Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Avernum 6. It's been a while, but it's finally here. Apologies to everyone who's been maybe impatiently, eagerly waiting for this playthrough to finally finish the Avernum series on my channel. Yeah, it's been a while. It's taken longer to get around to it than I expected, in part due to just how long Sunless Sea took. Didn't expect that when I started that game, that's for sure. But also, I don't know, maybe subconsciously, I've been... Part of me didn't want it to end, but then part of me also does want to see the hopefully epic finale to the series, so, you know, it's a bit bittersweet. But I'm definitely excited to play another Avernum again. It's definitely been long enough, and I've been missing this particular kind of gameplay. Expecting this to be, well, you know, more of the same. Not expecting any huge surprises here after 5 of these games, but that's never been an issue for me. And yeah, as usual, I don't know really anything about this game. I took one very quick look at the interface just to make sure that everything would work, and it looks kind of similar, quite similar to Escape from the Pit, the first remake. So relatively modern UI, you know, in quotation marks. Of course, it's 11 years old at this point. Kind of recent by Spiderweb standards, I suppose. So there shouldn't be any technical difficulties or anything like that. Of course, we have the limitation with only 4 spell or ability hotkeys and 4 item hotkeys. So that's definitely something I'm going to be missing. I also don't think there is any pathing or even action point display in combat, but we'll see once I actually get to experience that properly. Yeah, I suppose that's enough of an introduction. I'm going to create a party here, and well, yeah, I was just going to say that I don't know anything about the game story-wise. I'm expecting it to be a continuation of the general storyline, but I don't know how long after Part 5 this is taking place. Not that I really remember any details about the story of Part 5, let alone anything before that. I mean, I guess I roughly remember the themes of each game. But, yeah, again, no details. Obviously, I'm expecting this to be able to be perfectly enjoyable, even as a standalone experience. So, yeah, I'm just gonna create a party. And I have something in mind already. Maybe I'll tweak things a little bit, and yeah, I'll present to you the finished party of adventurers in a moment. Alright, here they are. A bit of a mix of familiar and unfamiliar names, perhaps. Ayali and Xaz I've definitely used in the past. Probably in this, well, definitely in this very series of Let's Plays. Maybe as slightly different kinds of characters. Lulu and Hawk are different, are new, as far as I remember. Don't think I've used those names before. Well, Hawk maybe, I don't know. It's not the most original name. Although he is supposed to be a reference to a famous mage from one of my favorite series of books ever. Of course, it's an abbreviation. And Lulu is actually a reference... No, not to the Final Fantasy X character, although I am fond of that game. But that's actually the name of my cat. And, you know, I figured, why not? It's a bit of a strange name, perhaps, and I was going back and forth, but, you know, ultimately, it's a name. And it's definitely the name of more than one video game character, so I think it's only appropriate. Right, I decided to go with custom characters for all 4 of them, but they're basically a berserker type warrior, planning to have her be dual wielding. 1 spear using a slith slash lockpicker. No big surprises there, I guess, if you've seen any of my playthroughs. We have a archer slash priest, and finally a pure sorcerer. I still didn't go with the sorcerer pre-made character class, I guess, because every pre-made class has some skills distributed in places where I wouldn't put them, you know, kind of wasted skill points. like I think all the melee characters tend to have some melee and pole weapons, and sometimes some range weapons thrown in as well. And I just don't need that. And I feel like, you know, starting skill points are tight enough as it is. Anyway, so for her, I went with 5 strength, 4 dex, 5 endurance. This might be a little bit overboard, but you know, she's not going to be using a shield, at least probably not. Hopefully, she will be fine without her having to resort to that. And yeah, so she needs all the extra hit points she can get. Then melee weapons, of course, some quick action, because it's pretty useful and kind of cheap as well. Some hardiness, some defense, well, 1 point for now, but hopefully a bit more down the road. And she's also going to be our second character who's going to be adding some first aid, at least that's the plan. I suppose everyone can get the first 2 levels or so because they're so cheap in the long run. And I made her ambidextrous to help with the dual wielding. And to offset that penalty, I made her weak-minded. I don't think I've been playing around with advantages and disadvantages much in the past. Mostly because all of the disadvantages seem kind of bad. Weak-minded might not be so terrible. It's only one person, and ideally we should always have someone around who can, you know, knock her out of any charm effects. Should that become a problem. We'll see. Yeah. So there's that. For him, I also went with 5 strength, 4 dex, only 4 endurance, I guess, because, well, I suppose he's going to be just as much in the front lines. But he has the same health, actually. I guess because a Slith is just slightly healthier by default, in which case I guess that works out just fine. I think that's the same health as our human warrior anyway. Yeah, then I gave him pole weapons. Only 4 for starters. 4 quick action because I think Actually, I'm not sure why I gave him so much of that. It doesn't really matter that much. Hardiness 2 because, well, that's just useful. It's particularly useful for him. As we'll see in a second. Tool use, I went all the way up to 8. Not sure how much we'll need. I'm gonna look that up probably, just you know, what the recommended maximum tool use is. It needs to be on 1 character in this game, so no spreading out the points, unfortunately. And yeah, I wonder. I mean, I'm sure there is some outlier log out there somewhere that requires like 15 or so, or more than that, which is of course slightly unreasonable to reach. And that's a lot of points just pumped into that for probably not a whole lot of benefit, not a whole lot of payout. But maybe something around 12 or so might be where you can open most relevant logs. I'll see if I can find that sort of reference. I'm pretty sure that those kinds of lists existed for previous games in the series, so I'm confident. And yeah, he's also gonna provide some nature lore. That's the idea anyway. And then, because a Slith starts with a hefty 20% XP penalty as it is, I wanted to give him some disadvantage that I thought I might be able to get away with. I gave him delicate skin, which is kind of not what Sliths are all about with their scaly skin, but I suppose it might be okay. It's only magical damage, elemental damage, and that can be partially made up for with the hardiness skill and buffs and whatnot, and equipment, of course. So I hope it's gonna be fine. That seemed like... Well, I didn't want to make him weak-minded as well. It seemed kind of lame. Also, it's only a 5% XP bonus. So not even that powerful, but yeah, that should bring him to a 12% penalty. She's at -5, he's at -12. Next we have Lulu, who as a Nephil has a default 10% XP penalty. Really not a huge fan of the non-human races having penalties in the first place, but you know, mostly just because that kind of incentivizes you to use an all-human party, which is lame. Anyway, so I gave her 4 dex, 4 endurance. I might be able to get away with 3 endurance, honestly, but That's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Then 6 bows, because bows, thankfully, are pretty cheap to upgrade. Yeah, she started with thrown missiles, so those points don't matter. Yeah, then of course she's secondarily, I suppose, or I don't know. I guess she's primarily a priest because we need someone to keep us alive, but in my experience, you can get away with not focusing entirely on priest spells, and your healing is still going to be pretty respectable. And of course there is an upper ceiling for how much you need to heal, because you never need to heal more than anyone's full hit points, right? Whereas with a mage you want to really go all in, because there's no upper limit to how much damage you can or want to deal with a spell, with a damaging spell. So while having better healing and better buffs, I guess, is certainly useful for a priest to an extent, I think we can get away with hybridizing them. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, priest spells 5 to unlock, you know, the most basic spells, of course. Arcane lore, spellcraft, all the usual stuff, some hardiness. First aid, because it makes sense to, I don't know, it doesn't need to be the healer who gets first aid. Everyone can get some of that, but it's nice to have a nice chunk of that to begin with. And then some nature lore. I suppose I decided to give her some nature lore as well, which, yeah, why not? And as you can also see, perhaps I made her a Deadeye, which gives her the 2 levels of sharpshooter to make her the best possible archer she can be, because, you know, archers traditionally have not been the most powerful character class in these games, but I still like to use them. And I gave her delicate skin as well, because I needed to offset that somehow, putting her at a total of a negative 2% experience penalty, so she should be at the same minus 12% as our Slith friend. And then finally we have Hawk, the mage. Not super exciting. He's quite intelligent. I also decided to give him 4 endurance to have no one be particularly squishy. Mage spells 5, arcane lore, spellcraft, and also some nature lore, I suppose. Yeah, and no special traits for him. Could have made him a natural mage or something, I guess. Yeah, natural mage. But that really just increases... I mean, it gives you a bonus to your mage spell skill, but that's something you can just... and I will keep increasing anyway. And the amount of armor you can wear while casting spells. I'm not planning to make him a frontline battle mage or anything, so that shouldn't matter. So yeah, with that, I guess we're ready to go. Right, and I have been thinking that I think I've played various games in the series, or various Spiderweb games, mostly on normal, some on hard even. I'm totally okay with playing on normal, but this being the final game in the series, and you know, on normal these games have been pretty, well, have been very manageable, very, very easy for the most part. And even, I want to say even the couple of times that I did play on hard were quite manageable. And obviously, you can't really be a lot more experienced than I am with these games. Apart from the fact that, of course, I've forgotten most of the specifics, but yeah, I mean, I guess I can't really deny that I have a lot of experience with the series, so I think it only makes sense. Plus, you know, it feels appropriate to, you know, maybe do the final game, make it a little bit more challenging, perhaps, than it could otherwise be. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it should be perfectly fine. Whereas Torment, of course, is just silly. That's only gonna artificially bloat enemy HP and make them very, very tanky and make things take a long time. So yeah, I feel like hard should be a decent balance. Anyway, jumping into the game. Okay, we got mushrooms, we got lizards, yep, all good old Avernum stuff. Avernum, a nation underground, a subterranean land spreading through a multitude of deep, dark caverns and tunnels. Once the prison for the empire that rules the surface, it has ascended to an undreamt of level of size and wealth. Now that the empire and Avernum are at peace after years of conflict, multitudes of adventurers, miners, and wealth seekers have rushed to the underworld, looking for gold, crystals, and natural sources of magical power. What is that? He doesn't like it. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Everyone enters and leaves Avernum through a single magical portal. Okay. Has that always been the case, or were there multiple portals? I mean, there obviously during the time where Avernum was a prison colony, there was the one portal in Fort Avernum, I think, in the Eastern Gallery. Anyway, everyone enters and leaves through a single magical portal, desperately overtaxed by those seeking freedom and their fortune. Wait. By those seeking freedom and their fortune? Aren't the people entering and leaving, those seeking their freedom and their fortune, aren't they also being overtaxed for using the portal, presumably? Well, I don't know. But the years of prosperity have not lasted. A new devastating threat has appeared. Nobody predicted it. Nobody human, anyway. Oh ho. Okay. So is this a threat? Some sort of blight? Yes, apparently. The blight. First appeared on the rich mushroom crops of the Eastern Gallery. Nobody knows where it came from. Was it created? Did it just appear? Everyone has a theory. What everyone agrees upon is that the blight spread quickly, destroying the mushrooms in one cavern after another. The mushrooms that fed the new multitudes of Avernites and their beasts of burden. It took time for panic to set in. When it finally took hold, it struck with a vengeance. Then, sensing weakness, the savage lizard people, the Slithzerikai of the northern reaches, emerged from their low tunnels. Most Slithzerikai are calm, civilized creatures, allies of Avernum. The northern tribes, however, led by a trio of deadly and cunning warlords, immediately gained ground against their disorganized foe. The Avernites showed little interest in fighting for a land where they could only starve. Instead, they fled. Every day, the Great Portal carries refugees from the caverns to the surface and brings back rations for those who remain. Soon, the population of Avernum will be low enough to survive on the food that remains. But will those that remain be strong enough to survive the assault of the Slithzerikai? In the end, the only thing that separates Avernum from chaos, starvation, or invasion is a dwindling army of brave souls, warriors like you. Alright. What are we actually in this game? I'm guessing soldiers of Avernum once more? Not that you ever actually get to fight or do anything heroic. After you volunteered for the army and completed your training, you were assigned to the Castle Food Depot and left to gather dust. Castle Food Depot, CFD. Okay. Under the harsh gaze of Sergeant Nicol, you have kept the dwindling food supplies of the depot safe from rats, looters, and your terrified fellow Avernites. As the war rages, you spend your days in tedium. This morning you wake up to the shouts of Sergeant Nicol, who surely has a new day of tedium planned for you. Though today your military career is about to take an unexpected turn. Do we have a video game on our hands here? Welcome to Avernum 6. The first fortress is a tutorial to help you get started. First you need to learn how to move around. Yeah, okay, I think I know how to move around. I can move the camera like this. And I can click to move. You start to walk around and attempt to get your circulation moving again. It isn't easy. The constant icy drafts of air from the nearby chasm fill your life with misery. But this was the only chamber with room for you. Or so they said, I guess. You wish for the thousandth time that you were living in one of the warmer barracks upstairs. Alas, you are at the bottom of the ladder at the food depot. A fact that the soldiers upstairs never let you forget. Another draft hits you, making you shudder. The caverns of Avernum tend to be either too cold or too hot, and choked with sulphurous steam. Oh well, the sooner you get to work, the sooner you can get out of here. You're already wearing your armor. Your blades await to the east. East is down to the right. Okay, thanks. Well, it is in the game view. It is, of course, just to the right as normal on the minimap. The area map. Yep, okay, walk down the corridor, find some weaponry. Alright. Well, first of all, let's see. We can do this. We can enter combat, exit combat. Yeah, okay, so this is where I mean, this is all I've seen previously of the game, so... yeah, we get our AP action points display up there with the character graphics, but not displayed helpfully next to the character or anything. We don't see how many AP it's going to cost to go anywhere, so if we want to make sure, we have to go, you know, one step at a time and or count out the tiles we're going to move. We're also going to... Oh, okay. No, we can... We can't click... Yeah, okay. Good. We can go one tile north without too much difficulty, or I guess it's not north, it's northwest. That's good to know. I seem to remember that being more tricky because obviously the cursor switches to a skip turn icon when you mouse over your own sprite. So in order to walk north without using... No, I can't even... Huh, interesting. Wait. Can I not? Oh, okay. With caps lock or none lock turned off, I can actually use the numpad to move in all 8 directions if I so choose. I guess that's good to know, to have that as an option for when I have to maneuver very precisely and I don't want to rely on the mouse for doing it for some reason. Okay, anyway, that's a thing I can do. I can open the inventory, okay. Carrying 10 pounds, encumbered at 55. We are starting with leather armor. All of us, yeah. I wonder if I had picked if I had picked a predefined class, a mage, for example, would we have started out with a robe or any kind of specific equipment? Maybe not. It's just leather armor for everyone. I guess we are all supposed to be just normal soldiers, so standard equipment, I guess. Okay, we got quick items. Yeah, unfortunately, only 4 quick items and 4 quick spells. Yeah, put those there, I guess. Alright, anything else? Well, skills and battle disciplines, I guess. Stop scrolling. Well-aimed blow. Oh. Like that, okay. Should have the same. Oh, no you don't. Interesting. Huh. I guess the difference must be then... Yeah, that must be unlocked with 5 melee or pole weapons. Okay. That's fine, we're gonna get that soon enough. Then with you, of course, we have... Let's see, heal, curing... Repel Spirit is just your attack spell, right? Undead and otherworldly creatures. Right, I think for now I wanna... hotkey the healing spells. And the blessings probably... Because the plan is, of course, to have her mostly use the bow for attacking, reserving her spell points for healing and buffing. Of course, I should be able to, yeah, hit P and just PE, actually. No, that's minor heal? Hold on. Oh, because I rebound the E key to A in order to be able to use WASD for scrolling. Right. So I'll have to click, it's fine. Yeah. That's not right now. But we have that option, of course. Okay, and for you, we have Bolt of Fire, Call Beast, which I never use because it tends to only summon weak creatures to begin with. I mean, good as cannon fodder and for keeping an enemy busy, perhaps, for a round or two. I don't know. Cloak of Curses. Ah, yes. That's kind of a long-term thing, isn't it? So I guess I don't technically need to hotkey that. Anyway, Bolt of Fire, obviously, our go-to bread and butter damage spell. Daze was definitely very useful at times. I guess I'm gonna hotkey Cloak of Curses for the time being, mostly just so I don't forget to cast it every now and then. And then Haste can also be very useful. Obviously, that's gonna be a little bit expensive. 6 energy, yeah. And Cloak of Curses is 12, but you cast that once and it should last a while, I think. That's the idea anyway. How much do we have? Only 23 spell energy, yikes. Okay, never mind. So Cloak of Curses actually uses up most of that. Huh. Okay, so maybe hold off on using that for now. I guess we're probably going to be dealing with, well, rats, was it? For the most part. Where are our weapons supposed to be? Also, okay, you can hold down tab to highlight things. Hopefully that includes containers and stuff. Your blades are sitting here where you left them, crude weapons dented by years of use, but it could be worse. In the earliest days of Avernum, the prisoners wielded spears tipped with sharpened stone. It's a miracle that anyone survived. Time to ready some blades and see what unpleasant job Sergeant Nickel has in store for you. You imagine you can hear his boot tapping impatiently on the stone, waiting for you to emerge. Yes. Okay, get some stuff there. On the container there does not, unfortunately, light up. Okay, I think we have some swords and a bow there. That's a bit stingy, but, you know, it's okay. You'll want 2 of those. No one else really needs that, though. I'm just gonna get the bow, if I saw that correctly, which we're not close enough to pick up. So that's too far away to loot. Good to know, I guess. Yeah, you're getting that. Cavewood bow, 2 to 4 base damage. I suppose until I have anything better, hopefully I'll find some sort of spear soon enough. Oh, there. Dual wield now. I'll give him and you a sword as well. So at least everyone has some sort of weapon. And in here we have a shield, not worth anything, and I'm just not planning to use it. I guess I could pick one up. If it turns out that I just can't survive without a shield on hard difficulty. Yeah. The weapons, despite their age and poor condition, feel comfortable in your hands. At the very least, you should be able to handle any of the tedious tasks you're likely to be given in the castle food depot. There are additional supplies waiting for you in the cabin by the north wall. Yes, thanks, I just looted that. You'd probably better collect them before you move on. Yes. You hear angry shouting coming from beyond the storeroom door. Sergeant Nickel is probably bellowing for you to come out. Probably? Can't we understand what exactly he's shouting? The day is off to a perfectly normal start. I'm sure everything's gonna remain perfectly normal. No invasion happening or anything like that. Hello, Sergeant Nickel. Sergeant Nickel is sitting at his desk waiting for you. He is a lifer in the Avernum army. Lifer? Oh, as in consigned for life or something? Born and raised in the underworld. He is deathly pale and, like everyone who spent a lifetime down here, increasingly sickly in his advancing age. He has also been your superior officer and trainer during your years in the army. Almost every order, reprimand, and rare bit of encouragement has come from him. But today, something is different. He slowly rises from his desk. Ah, you're finally up. It's good to see you. It is an eventful day, I think. And then he smiles. No, it's not a trick of the light. He's actually smiling. You are now in a conversation. Yep. Oh god, what did I do wrong? I don't know. Should I roleplay or should I go for the funny options or go for exhausting the dialogue? I mean, we're soldiers, right? So let's act like soldiers. Reporting for orders, sir. He nods approvingly. A bit of professionalism at last. It took a year, but the lessons finally sunk in. You'll have your orders soon enough. For now, relax. This will be a good day for you. That doesn't sound good. It's really been a year already? The days turn into a blur here, don't they? Nothing but tedium. He shakes his head nervously. But it's better than the alternative. Better than what's happening out there. Care to elaborate? No. How's it a good day? First, I want you to know that although your posting here should be coming to an end, I have asked Lieutenant Catlin to keep you here indefinitely. You can assist me in running the depot safe from the chaos outside. Oh. Yay. You feel dizzy. You joined the army to become a hero, to fight for Avernum, and Nicholas making you stay prisoner in this pit, hunting rats and keeping the mob from sacks of moldy meal? If you wanted safety, you wouldn't have signed up. I appreciate what you did, I suppose. I mean, I guess he's meaning well. He's certainly not the adventurous type himself. But we are. How could you do that? I want out of here. Nico looks surprised, and then gets a strange look on his face. Not the anger you expected. It's sadness. Ah, to be young. To still be unable to appreciate the gifts people have given you. Still, you will understand someday. I find you easy to work with, so I decided to protect you. It doesn't matter. What is done, and I have a second bit of news for you. Okay. You're protecting me? You haven't seen the campaigns I have. How ugly the wars can get down here. Once He shakes his head. You have spent much of the last year here, only a little time on leave. Not much news has reached you of the campaigns in the north, of the uprisings, of... Things are kept quiet as long as possible, sometimes. Just know that being in this pit, as much as you hate it, is the best option. I mean, it probably is the safest. But safety is boring. In a video game, anyway. What is the next bit of news? That I think you can be trusted with a little bit of independence. Do things on your own. Show a little initiative. This doesn't sound good. Go on. Well, for the last year, I've been holding your hand, fighting with you, telling you when to use magic, helping you disperse the mobs. Now, at last, I think you can stand on your own. And not a moment too soon. I need to do something? Like, actually do something? Nothing spectacular. More rats. He points to the south. I found fresh spoor just an hour ago. Heard the beggars, too. The beggars? Are you calling the rats the beggars? Or are we talking about human looters? Probably came up from the chasm. It sounds like he's talking about rats. There's no food in those caves now, so they'll be hungry. That'll make it easy for you to lure them out. Once they smell you... He chuckles. Okay. Can I get more supplies? He snores. Very quickly, the sarcastical, critical nickel returns to you. For rats? What would you like? A potion of invulnerability? Sure, why not? A wand of death? Or 3? Perhaps I should find Demon Slayer for you. Is that what you need? I mean, I wouldn't mind. You tell him that no, that probably won't be necessary. Alas. So you won't be coming with me? Of course not. It's time for you to stand on your own 2 feet. Or your own 8 feet, I guess. And your tail, I suppose. Who are you talking to exactly here? I mean, I do appreciate that this line is probably added because we have a Slith and or Nephil in our party. Although I don't think that either of them stand on their tails, but whatever. Alright, I'll hunt down those rats. He nods. And I'll catch up on my requisition forms. Come back when they're dead. He points to the south. You've received a quest. First of many. Yep, no doubt about that. The goal for your quest is marked with a star on the map. Modern game design. Go hunt some rats. The mark will be removed when the quest is complete. Conversation ends. Alright, can we loot your desk? Yes, we can. A dagger. I mean... Yeah, thanks but no thanks. Rats are still down there. Yes, they are. Okay, let's see here. What did I want to do? Oh, check the journal. Sergeant Nichols saw some rats in the storeroom. Can we click on that? No. Okay, we can't click on question marks. I got to read the notes. Up to main floor. Your quarters. Right. How do you save the game? Awesome. And then just like that, reload. Gonna be doing that a lot. That's for sure. Most of Avernum is dimly lit by the green, luminescent fungus that hangs from the ceilings of the caverns. Created by wizards when Avernum was first settled, the stuff makes life in the underworld possible. However, very little of it gets down into the low tunnels like these. That's why there are some lamps on the table here. You might want to get one and use it. Use a lamp. Yep, okay. I mean, any kinds of light sources have really not been necessary in the past games, so I doubt that's going to be the case here, but it doesn't hurt to have some on hand, I suppose. Also, when the game mentioned the glowing fungus, of course, which has been described in previous games, that made me wonder. I mean, the blight that's currently affecting Avernum, and that seems to be the central problem going on here, does that not affect the glowing fungus? Because it would be kind of bad if it did, right? I mean, starving is one thing, but starving in complete darkness? Yikes. But maybe that is actually going to be a thing, we'll see. Tick, tick, bzz. What are you all about, stone servants? The mages of Patrick's Tower sent the depot 3 stone servants to haul around supplies and do odd jobs. Unfortunately, without their creators to guide them, they were clumsy and confused and tended to do more harm than good. They are currently being stored down here, where they can't break anything. Great. Leaving any hauling and odd jobs for us to do, presumably. Okay. You thread your way among empty boxes and shelves, which once stored food and supplies. Not anymore. The people of Avernum are eating the food far faster than it is being brought from the surface, and you know how that story will end. Sergeant Nickel was right. There are rats down here. You see the droppings and the fresh tracks in the light layer of mold on the stone. It doesn't take too long to find the rats. Nickel was right about another thing. The moment they smell fresh meat, the vicious furry beasts pour out of their hiding places. You're about to enter combat mode. Yep. Oh yeah, huge rats. Gotcha. Can we... Oh, we can right-click on enemies, not middle-click for more information. That is the more modern games, I guess. But we do get the health, right. Okay, well then. I guess we can go ahead and start with the Battle Blessing, which takes a considerable chunk of our mana. Also, the combat grid is kind of hard to see here, but we should be able to get to that rat, to stab it, or slash away at it. Really wish I had a proper weapon. It's kind of mean that they don't provide, you know, at least a pole weapon, just in case you have a character starting with that. Ooh, nice one. 2 hits. Oh yeah. Thank you. I want to switch to the bow. I guess help him finish that rat, maybe? 18. Not bad. And a fireball for this one. 29, just enough. Oh. And 2 new ones just spawned? 3, actually. Okay, maybe you go ahead and intercept this rat. Dealing kind of disappointing damage here, but that's fine. Nice one. 19. Sure, fireball. Fireball is super cheap anyway, so there's that. Come on, a good crit or something. 16. Eh. Can you reach that rat? Yes, surprisingly. You help with that one, I guess. Sure. Another fireball. And another rat climbs out of the chasm. Yeah, I can see it right there. It is far larger than the others. A huge, hideous beast. Its skin is covered with patches of fungus, and white froth dots the corners of its mouth. Its eyes show traces of feral intelligence. You doubt Sergeant Nickel knew anything like this beast was down here. If you live... Really? If you live, he might want to be informed. Well, let's see if we can defeat this monstrosity. It is a lot more healthy than the other rats, although it's diseased, so it's not healthy in that regard. Anyway. Okay, that was not quite enough, but that was a decent hit. 2 decent hits, I guess. The rat didn't do anything? Yet? Oh. Nope. Oh, and it flees in terror. So maybe it would have gotten its turn after all of us did. But then it didn't because it was too afraid. Alright. Well, that was pretty easy. We get a scroll of Ice Bolt. And it begins. The accumulation of consumables I'm never actually gonna use. I mean, Ice Bolt is... Wait, that's Smite. Hold on. Is that a priest spell? That's Repel Spirit. Oh, and we can't actually even see more advanced spells. That's kind of a bummer. Yeah. I think Smite is a priest spell, though. I mean, it used to be. So, technically, we'll have access to that eventually. So I'm gonna give that to the mage, and I guess give any mage spells to the priest. Sergeant Nickel will be pleased. The rats are all dead, and your wounds will heal eventually. Actually, we didn't take any damage at all, so no wounds there. But something dropped this flawed crystal, which should be only for selling. But I guess the junk bag was only introduced... Yeah, no shift clicking or anything. to put things in a junk bag. There's also no button to open the junk bag, so I guess that's just not a thing, and we'll have to gather, you know, sellable junk in our normal inventory. There is a box that we can open, actually. Some meat. I mean, thanks but no thanks, I guess. Some extremely basic armor. There you go. Oh, mushrooms. That's fine. I'm not gonna bother with food items for healing, I don't think. Sergeant Nickel notes the fresh scratches on your armor with approval. Well, you seem a bit more worn down than I would have expected for just a handful of rats, but you did get the job done. He gets some bandages out of his desk and tends to your wounds. What wounds? Well, he did recover a man, I guess. Good old field medicine. First picked it up in the Zakazi campaign. Ugly days. Zakazi does not ring a bell. So, it doesn't seem like he's referring to any events from the series' history. Although it might just be something I'm forgetting about, but no, that doesn't seem familiar. Also, I don't even know how long after the previous games this is taking place, as I said, so this might very well be long after, or, you know, this might be so long after previous events that no one alive today, even someone somewhat older like Sergeant Nickel, would have personally witnessed any of the events from the previous games. Who knows? I suppose I should get a report about the fight, see if there's any pointers I can give you. Yeah, well, we should report about this special rat if that's unusual, so these weren't your ordinary rats. Sergeant Nickel listens with concern. He seems skeptical until he looks at the scratches on your armor again. I think I will look around myself. Yeah, I mean, the body should still be there, right? Just look at that, I guess, rather than the scratches on our armor, which don't exist because we weren't attacked. This looks like a larger infestation than normal. Might mean... well, I'll look. As for you, it looks like our instincts were correct. You're capable of acting on your own. For short times, doing easy tasks anyway. Now I have something else for you to do. What do you want me to do? He walks to the west gate, raps on it with a mailed hand, and shouts to the guards upstairs. It starts to open slowly. Then he points to the stairway beyond. Go upstairs and report to Lieutenant Catlin. She's in the audience hall right now, telling hungry people why they can't have more food. Make sure everything is under control up there. Then, if she doesn't need you, report back to me. What do you think she will want me to do? Probably nothing, but you might want to mention the rats to her, alright? And I have to come back down here? You're going to try to go outside again? On some adventure? Not wise. The people of Avernum are not getting calmer. And if they find out you work in the food depot... He shakes his head. How would they ever know? Surely we're not all wearing some sort of easily identifiable badge or something. You're a good kid. I'm trying to keep you safe. Don't make it harder. Alright, I'm going. He nods. Oh, and one more thing. I think you can be allowed to have this. He removes a key from a pouch and hands it to you. This is the key to the upstairs food bins, in case Catlin sends you to get food for someone, as unlikely as that is. Having that key is a privilege, don't misuse it. Go see Catlin. I have work to do. He casts an uneasy glance at the shadowy corridor to the south. Is he gonna be eaten by rats when we return? That might actually be the case. Well, take care, Sergeant. Actually... Oh, deep storage. Keep out. Right. Guess we'll keep out for now. You enter the main storage hall of the food depot. It's much warmer up here. The searing air from the volcanic vents miles to the east and west is merely balmy by the time it blows out to here. The scent of sulfur is barely noticeable. The hall is full of crates of food. Soon these supplies will be carried by well-guarded caravans to where they are needed most, though very little food has been arriving lately. From here you can clearly hear the shouting and pleading in the audience hall. This is where Lieutenant Catlin will be. Now you can go report to her and see if she needs anything. A good time to save your game. Sure, I guess I'll quick save again. I guess I can keep going for a little while longer, although I think I want to try to keep these episodes under an hour long. generally speaking. You know, not go overboard, but of course I also don't want this to be to become a 200 episode Let's Play. So I'll try to find some sort of balance, but that usually just happens automatically. There's one thing I wanted to check. Ah, yes, the one button I hadn't pressed. Could you please remove that? I did not mean to do that necessarily, but that's okay. Oh, I used the key. These are the food stores. Okay. This is one of the food lockers normally kept full of sacks of high-quality mushroom meal. Before Sergeant Nickel gave it to you, you never had the key. The key that unlocks it. The key is a valuable resource. You don't have any reason to open the locker, though. It could get you in considerable trouble. You leave it alone. Okay, fair enough. Do your duty and keep the valuable food inside safely stored. We could check the bread, though. Okay. Why is this even an option, then? Just lore, I suppose. Anyway, didn't mean to click on that. I just wanted to make that tooltip go away. Now, yeah, I wanted to take a look. Okay, so we are actually down here. Castle Food Depot. Help Lieutenant Catelyn. Or find out if she does need help with anything in the first place. Okay, so we're starting down here, which I think is a first. Well, I could be wrong. I want to say that in the past we've basically always been starting, well, either elsewhere entirely. I guess in the case of Avernum 3, where we went to the surface. But, well, in the first game we started around here, I want to say, in the Portal Fortress, or Fort Avernum, I think it was called. And then later up in either in Fort Monastery or nearby. So generally in the northeastern quadrant, I suppose, of the map. Not sure if we ever started in the Great Cave itself, but I think the castle was mentioned, actually, and that we were stationed there or near there, so yeah. So here's the Castle Food Depot. So that's new. Pretty sure that didn't exist in previous games. The castle, of course, Darman, Almaria, Blosk and Gnas, the Slith village, Fort Emerald and Fort Saffron and Fort Remote, in the western reaches, which we don't have a map for. Okay, fair enough. We got the Honeycomb, of course, the Great Portal. So we got Portal Keep here. Yeah, Patrick's Tower as well, which has been mentioned. Portal Keep and the Great Portal. I'm assuming Portal Keep is the portal that was mentioned. The one portal that everyone is entering and leaving, mostly leaving these days, through. So maybe the Great Portal is currently inactive or destroyed or something. There's a tower colony near where, or maybe in the exact location where the Tower of Magi used to be before, I guess it blew up? Or was blown up? I don't know. Not entirely sure. What exactly happened there? Myrtis, a farming village. We got Silvar, Kotra, Fort Renlon, Fort Davno. Was there another city here, or not? Well, Kotra and Silvar are the big ones, I guess. I don't remember the Horned Gate. That name does not seem familiar. There might have been a gate here before. Oh, but these are occupied lands. Right, so I guess this is where the Sliths have been attacking from, and yeah, so it makes sense. So I guess the Horned Gate was probably newly built to keep them in check. Keep them from entering the Eastern Gallery. Although there's another connection here as well. And no obvious wall there, so So Formello probably lost to the Sliths. Fort Draco as well. Presumably Fort Monastery. Okay, and then we have the Abyss, Barga, Grindstone, yeah. I guess there was a town of that name. That at some point, I forget what game that was, but at some point someone founded that as like a third power between the castle and the Abyss. But yeah, then we have the Abyss, Barga, Spire Fortress. Over here we got Erika's Tower, I suppose, even though it's not labeled. And that seems to be that. Right, a few places here that are not mapped. The path goes south here from whatever this fortress was. There's some sort of tower there that I don't necessarily remember. But yeah, it's mostly... I mean, obviously the general geography is still pretty much the same as I remember it. Most of the places are really just the Castle Food Depot, the Horn Gate, possibly this little tower here. Might be completely new. But then, of course, I also don't know. Maybe this being the final game in the series, it's going to be particularly epic, and we're actually going to be visiting the lower caves, maybe even going to the Vanatai lands again. Probably not going to the surface because, well, it seems like the problems down here are, you know, primarily an underworld problem. Don't see how the surface would be involved unless someone from the surface somehow wants to create chaos down here and would have introduced that blight to then watch everyone, you know, tear each other apart in the underworld. Anyway, we're gonna find out if it's the Sliths that are behind it. That seems a little bit too obvious, perhaps, though. I kind of hope that they're not, that they're just trying to take advantage of Avernum's weakened state right now, and that it's actually something else, something or someone else that is behind the problems. But we'll see. For now, I want to say it's definitely good to be back. Finally, feels good, and yeah, I'm looking forward to just a lot more of this. I hope you've been enjoying this as well. Thank you so much for watching, as always. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and I shall see you real soon. Bye-bye.